Moving across the country at 65 years old was a lot harder than I expected. I thought it would be mostly exciting, mostly new and different, and I thought I would just take me and move me over here and everything would be just fine. It was a lot harder than I expected. It was pretty hard. Would I do it again? Yep, I sure would. I would do it again. What surprised me the most was how much I missed what I really didn't like. I left California because I was really tired of homeless everywhere. We lived in a really nice little neighborhood. When we first moved there, it was quiet and simple, and our home was built in the very late 40s, early 50s, maybe. Shoot, I don't even remember. It was this simple little house that was built right after World War II and the boom in Southern California. We were only about 3 miles away from the airport, the Burbank airport, not in the flight pattern, not under the flight path. Big difference. So we had this nice little neighborhood, and it started to change. Certainly, it didn't start to change right away. It was quiet and simple and easy, and we raised our son there. I always used to say, however, it was my starter home. I didn't know it was going to be my home for 37 years. And that's what it turned out to be, 37 years in this house. It was small. The floor plan was kind of awkward. I didn't love it. But it became home. And after we raised our son, after he got out of college, and after he got out on his own, things started to change. The neighborhood started adding additional dwelling units on the street, ADUs, which made for more cars, which made for more people, which made for more congestion, the homeless. We lived a block away from a major street. We lived a block away from a major intersection. And on either side of us was a major intersection. And liquor stores and convenience stores and check cashing places and bus stops. And it's just not where we wanted to live. But we'd been there for so long. And I met and married my husband in California. And his life was in California. And we had a church life in California. All of my family, except for my brother, but nearly all of my family was here. And I would come home once a year by myself. When my son was little, I would take him. But I would come back home once a year and spend time with my mom and just live her life here for about a week or 10 days and see my sisters and do whatever I wanted and eat however I wanted. Just have that freedom from my regular life. I would come here to Wisconsin. And I just thought, kind of naively, that I will leave California and move here and it'll be just fine. And after I'd been here about a month and a little bit of the excitement had worn off, still unpacking, we had bought new furniture. My husband bought a new car. Still trying to figure out where everything is, and the weather's starting to change, and it's beautiful, especially in the fall. But little by little, I noticed that I'm pretty unhappy and I'm really homesick. Homesick. I don't understand how you can be homesick for a place that you were so wanting to leave. Still not sure that I understand it. But I was homesick for the way my life used to be. I was homesick for knowing where everything was in a grocery store. I was homesick for knowing where I used to park my car all the time. I was homesick for a routine. I was homesick for knowing where the post office was, where my bank was, the best route to get somewhere in a hurry. I was homesick for a restaurant that I knew what I always wanted to eat. And I knew how to get there quickly, the best route to avoid traffic. I was homesick for my baseball team. I was homesick for my baseball team. I was homesick for the radio in my car, that I always knew where the station numbers were. I always knew who was on at what time. I don't know how you prepare for that, though, unless you know it. And I didn't know it ahead of time. I remember one day after church, and my husband and I are music ministers at our church, a Catholic church. So he plays guitar and I sing, and we have a piano player. And I did that in California for as long as we've been together now, over 35 years. So I'm very used to that. And we started at a new church here and doing what we do. And I was riddled with performance anxiety and sadness and emotion, and seeing my parents at church where they've never been with me because I lived in California and they live here. So I would see them and think, oh my gosh, they're here. I need to take advantage. They're here and I love them and they're here and they've never been here and they're not going to be here much longer. They're quite elderly. And I was overwhelmed with emotion for that. And after church one day, I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. And I didn't know why. Why am I crying? Everything is fine. But I was very unmoored. Yeah, that's it. Unmoored. I just couldn't connect. I didn't have the people that I used to see all the time in California. They weren't there. It was new people that I don't know are here, but my parents are here. And it was very, very challenging. It was very challenging for me emotionally to make this move. That surprised me. That surprised me because I really wanted to leave, really wanted to get out of California. I said to my husband, we are sitting on a gold mine because we had all that equity in our home. And we did. We had a lot of equity. And we can actually buy something that will be much nicer for us here in Wisconsin. And we did. Would I do it again? I think I said it earlier. Yeah, I would do it again. Because life is better here. We made a good decision. Sometimes I feel like I live in a resort just because it's resort-like compared to where we were living in that nice little quiet, simple neighborhood in Southern California with the houses packed in. But here there's nature and trees and seasons and birds and quiet. I would do it again. I just wish I would have known. Emotionally, it's a lot harder than you think. And maybe it was because of my age. Not sure. I think mostly it's just going to take time. It's been a year and a half now. And I'm doing better. I am doing better than I was about all of the change. And the roots are coming. I'm settling down. I'm starting to know where everything is in the grocery store, and I'm starting to know where to park and where to drive, and I'm recognizing a few people here and there. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of life. I do wish I would have known. I just wish I would have known it's going to be more challenging than you realize. Maybe then I could have braced myself for the emotional impact of completely changing your life. Hope this has helped somebody. Thank you so much for watching. And come and see what's on the horizon again. I don't even know what I'm saying. Come and see. Thanks for being here.